So today we're going to talk about Alexander Isak. Sorry, mentioned the wrong tweet. Today we're going to talk about Victor Gyokeres to Arsenal for 63.5 million euros with add-ons of upwards of 10 million. But are they signing the wrong Swede? That is my question. Should they have gone for Alexander Isak? Let's get into it. So, as we can look at the statistics, Gyokeres is much better in terms of aerial duels won and offensive duels won. This is mainly because of the Premier League and Portuguese league's differences in physicality and the play style. But again, he's remarkably strong on the ball and off the ball as well. But if you look at the other stats, which are the touches in box, expected assists, non-penalty goals, non-penalty XG, and conversion percentage, Alexander Isak is almost up there. He's almost up there. Gyokeres is the best in the world in that sense, but Isak is almost there. That tells you something because Isak is doing this in the Premier League, whereas as harsh it may sound, Gyokeres is playing for Sporting. That is the only thing. That's one thing. So I would have, if I were Arsenal and if I had the money to sign Alexander Isak, I would have definitely gone for him. But I can see that the money thing could also be an issue because frankly, I don't think anyone is going to spend upwards of 150 million on Isak, although he is worth it. If Liverpool do sign him, please sign him. I'm requesting, please sign him. But regardless, let's talk about another striker who came from the Portuguese league to the Premier League. My GOAT, Darwin Núñez. So, if we see Núñez's last season stats, which most people would say were below average, the stats don't lie, man. Touches in the box. Núñez is highest in that. Non-penalty XG, Núñez is up there. Expected assists, Núñez is there. So we can see that Núñez does the linking up thing. He just can't finish, and that's mainly due to his confidence. And are we gonna see something like that when Gyokeres comes to Arsenal? That is one thing to be scared of, because if you're spending 65 million on a striker and supposedly that striker is supposed to be the missing piece for you to win the Premier League, that's kind of scary for me, because as much as I love Núñez, he has sort of been a failed experiment. But again, because if you see Núñez's that season, 22-23 season, which he played with Benfica, he scored a hat-trick against Barca. Well, not a hat-trick, he scored 3 goals against Barca, over the 2 legs. And he also troubled Liverpool. So if you look at it that way, Núñez was more of a troublemaker than Gyokeres is. But Núñez does not have the stats to back it up, which Gyokeres does. That is one thing, and there's no doubt about the quality of player. He's good with the ball, as we have seen his goals from the highlight reels which you've seen on Instagram, that Gyokeres is signing for Arsenal. He can drive a ball, man. He can give him the ball on his feet. He can shrug off the defender and drive the ball towards the goal and finish very nicely. That is one thing he's great at. The other thing is running in behind, but that could be an issue. I'll get into it later. Running in behind, he's good at. Aerial threat, as we can see, he's really high there. Those are the things. But let's see how he improves Arsenal, because we'll compare him to Kai Havertz. Yes, Kai Havertz. He's still an Arsenal player somehow. So if you look at it this way, apart from the offensive duels, apart from the offensive duels, Kai Havertz is doing everything which Gyokeres can, but at a much lower rate. Like, he's in the 70th percentile and the 80th percentile in the same things which Gyokeres is top 3 in the world. So that is a really good indicator that Gyokeres will fit into Arsenal's system. Because let's be real, Mikel Merino is not even comparable to Victor Gyokeres when it comes to heading the ball or striking the ball on a volley. So that's one thing. And another thing is that how Arsenal will set up under him. So I think Arsenal plays a 4-3-3, simple 4-3-3, nothing much. But the main thing is Bukayo Saka, Martin Odegaard, who predominantly occupy the right hand space, and they love to dink the ball into the far post where the striker or the winger can put the ball into the back of the net. That is something where Gyokeres can really shine. And the left wing is really dead for Arsenal. But again, since Gyokeres is right footed, he can really run the flank on the left side and then cut in and shoot or something like that. So he can also be a threat from the left hand space. But if Arsenal also sign Rodrigo, I think that is something which will be crazy. But I don't think Arsenal are going to do that. So let's not talk about it because he's coming to Liverpool. No, he's not. We'll see. But striker. Arsenal fans over the past 3 seasons have been crying that they need a striker. Kai Havertz is bad. They should have gone for Aubameyang again. Aubameyang should have never left. I'd have Lacazette over Nketiah. All those things. Wait a minute. You're getting a striker now. We'll see what you can do now. Because Arsenal fans always complain that if we had a striker, we would have won the league. See, y'all might, but it depends if you have a good left winger or not. Because realistically, if Alexander Isak would have been in your team, so let's just assume in a hypothetical situation that Bukayo Saka is injured, right? So you have to play Ethan Nwaneri or someone else there, or Madueke, yeah. So they're obviously not going to get the same output as Saka will. So you need someone who can make things happen on his own. Alexander Isak is more of that type than Victor Gyokeres will be, in my opinion. So that's one thing. So realistically, the questions which are raised are, can Arsenal win the league? They have a higher chance, obviously. Let's not just joke that they'll finish second again. But it really depends on if he works or not, because I am low-key scared that he could be another Darwin Núñez, because obviously the Portuguese league is much more easier than the Premier League. So that is something which really scares me. But on the other hand, he's done it in Europe. He's stronger than Núñez, I'd say, and he's calmer than Núñez, I'd say. He's as good as Núñez in linking up with the players, and that is something which is really smart from his side, because right now he's in his prime, and I don't think he's someone who can really be molded right now, because he's in his prime. He's like 27, and as we can see that he's like really similar to Kai Havertz, but like much better. We can see that there are clear signs that he'll fit in the Arsenal system. I would rate this signing a 9 out of 10. Not gonna lie. Let me know your thoughts and comment down if you think that Arsenal could win the league or the Champions League. Bye.